Well, I say good evening. The big agenda I'm running doing Adom TV. Me the question sempa on big agenda tonight. You share Nigeria's election. Ochina Nigeria for Kotuaba. Now why no Motuaba man? So far, that is some violence akoso. Now saying on my battle be affected Ghana. Big agenda. DBS Industries Limited at Daroma. Emphasize that case your mom. Me and Combra ye Koba. Make sure the DBS. I was saying, the big agenda, Jimmy, before the break, me catch you say it's all about Nigeria and Enyumbre here. West African country, Nigeria. Nigeria, one of the biggest population in West Africa, indeed. And I know about 95 million voters in a better about Nigeria. Ewa Ochina election. Now, you better say the 95 no. And here for no more to so far about 19 contenders. And I contested for the presidential seat. And out of the 19, Mumi and Sandy are one of your leading candidate. The Mumi and Sandy, why Anna Ebeko Amano? Well, the if the but, and Nigerian colleague journalist ever joining and after training or the Amaya and so who are the Nigerian journalists, and come on. So if you can hear me, good evening.
Yeah, good evening, I can hear you.
Bros, how is Nigeria?
Nigeria is fine. Nigeria is preparing for election tomorrow.
We thank God, oh Baba God. Now, Ghana fine. So tell me exactly what has been happening as issues regarding to the elections.
All right. The Nigeria presidential election and National Assembly election will take place tomorrow, the 26th of February 2023. And the Independent National Electoral Commission is set for the election proper tomorrow. And as I speak with you, everybody have traveled to their various cities where they are going to demonstrate their franchise for tomorrow, because there's not going to be free movement for unauthorized vehicles tomorrow. Only those who are going to be strictly for election will be allowed to move around tomorrow.
And how many?
We are set to see what's unfolding tomorrow.
So let's talk about the contestants. How many people are contesting for the presidential race?
As we speak, we have got 18 political parties that are running for this election. But majorly, we have 4 major political parties that are the front run for this election. We have the ruling party, which is the All Progressives Congress, APC. And the presidential candidate is Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We have the People's Democratic major opposition, which is the candidate is the Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. Then we have Labour Party, which the candidate is Mr. Peter Obi. Then we have NNPP. Which is Mr. Rabi Kwankwaso, who was the former governor of Kano State, one of the states in Nigeria. So those are the major political parties and major candidates that we look out for tomorrow. And among these 4 candidates, one will be declared president-elect after the election tomorrow or on the 26th.
Right. Now, so help us understand, among the 4 candidates, that as the major candidate, is there any youthful candidates among them?
Yeah, there's no youth among them. Because when we're talking of youth, we are talking of age brackets between age of 18 and, if I'm not mistaken, 45. So there's none of the 4 is younger than 50, none of them.
So what is the least age? If you can help me with that, what's the least age among those contenders?
I think they should be in their 60s. The four of them should be in their 60s.
Okay. But we told some of the information we're picking up is that...
We have 60s, we have 70s, we have 60s, we have 70s among the four.
50s, 70s among the four. But information we're picking from Nigeria indicate that the youth actually wanted somebody of their own to lead Nigeria this time. So what happened?
We have other candidates from other political parties. We have AA, one of the activists and the publisher of Sahara Reporter. We have Accord, a person of Professor Imumale, Professor Chris Imumale, who is the youngest, if I'm not mistaken, should be the youngest, should be around 39, thereabouts. So we have so many young candidates, but they are from not popular political parties. You know, when we're talking of presidential election, we are talking of the key components, the major political parties to look out for. You understand? Nobody can predict who is going to win, anyways, but notwithstanding, we are not, we have studied history and we are product of history. And of course, history will always have its way repeated. And that is why I can categorically tell you that major contenders tomorrow are four political parties. In fact, many have zeroed into three major political parties, which is the APC, PDP, and Labour Party.
Now,
majorly.
Okay.
There are their supporters across the country. We have 6 geopolitical zones in the country. We have the North Central, we have the Northeast, we have the Northwest, we have the South-South, we have the Southeast, we have the Southwest.
Right.
So if you are not popular in these major 6 geopolitical zones, it shows you might not be amongst the top leading political parties. So that is how we are actually considering who is actually doing what among the political parties.
So walk us through the voter population. About how many people will be queuing to vote come tomorrow?
How many what?
How many people will be queuing to vote come tomorrow?
Yeah, as I speak with you, I don't have the accurate figure right as I speak with you, so I wouldn't want to give you figure that will not be accurate. But I'm going to get through, and before tomorrow, I will give you the figure of the accredited voters and those who will be eligible to participate as far as voting tomorrow.
Okay, I'm sure the political parties are wrapping up with the elections as of now. So tell us, what has been the key message that they're all contending with?
The campaign ended yesterday, which is 48 hours to the election. And all political parties ran off their political campaigns on Thursday, which was yesterday. Majorly, all of them have given their messages to their supporters across the country, that they should all remain law-abiding, determined to willingly come out to cast their votes. Nobody should be intimidated. And the security agencies also, the lead security agency, which is the Nigerian Police Force, has also gave the assurance that it's going to be one of the most peaceful elections ever. So we look forward to have that very peaceful, credible, reliable, and transparent election. We have international observers that are already on ground for this poll. So we are patiently waiting to see what will be unfolding tomorrow.
Right now, so ahead of the elections, we heard about some packets of violence across the country. You are in Nigeria and you can describe the situation vividly. What has been happening?
You know, when we're talking of election violence, well, honestly speaking, this 2023 election or campaigning has actually been fair, because compared to what we used to have in the country, before now we will have been seeing a lot of bloodshed in so many places. But as it stands, there were no major violence recorded so far.
So can you right?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, so I can hear you very well, loud and clear. I can hear you. So can you confirm to us?
Earlier today, we learned that a senatorial candidate of one of the parties, which is Labour Party, was actually murdered. According to reports, and INEC has declared that election will not take place in that very particular senatorial district. And that is Enugu East senatorial district. That election might not take place tomorrow at that very particular political spectrum. But that does not affect the entirety of the state or the generality of the country.
Okay, so just before you go, 2 more questions. I'll ask you. I know tomorrow Nigerians will be queuing to vote. So you can tell us, because you have been covering elections in Nigeria, what is likely to be the atmosphere come tomorrow?
Pardon? If I could hear you clearly,
right.
What would be the atmosphere?
Exactly.
What would the atmosphere look like?
Exactly. Come tomorrow.
Right?
Sure.
Oh, we look forward for a very peaceful and clear coastal tomorrow. We look for a very peaceful atmosphere. We look out for a very good demonstration from both parties, from major stakeholders, the political key players. We look forward to see an election that is going to write a new history in Nigeria, where they are going to elect a president that is going to take over from the outgoing President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR.
Right. Now, finally, before you go, I mean, we've seen a lot of videos on social media, especially with people who are trooping into banks. I don't know if that's the exact situation in Nigeria. Is that the case?
People that are doing what?
I've seen people in videos who are trooping into banks, and it's circulating on social media. Is that happening in Nigeria, or is fake?
Yeah, that has started happening for the last 2 weeks. It's a new policy introduced by the Central Bank of Nigeria, which is majorly for cashless policy, and that's actually the designing of Nigeria currency, the ledger tender, and the money is not actually enough in circulation. So, which resulted to what you are seeing on social media, that people are crowding major commercial banks to get their money. So it's not a news. It's no longer a news. In fact, it's even getting better now. For the last 2 weeks, has been so chaotic for people to get their money in Nigeria.
So, Wakinde, I thank you so much. We wish you well in tomorrow's election, and I'm sure we'll be crossing over to you as and when we need some information about the elections. Thank you so much for joining us live on Adom TV. It's here now joining our high Adom TV, the big agenda. As they say, and security analyst, Dr. Sadeka Duchuman and Kasa. Doc, Otemeka some drink when you marry. Wait, Major said Bibia Boko there. Yeah, Doc, this is not the first time a Nigeria echo election. This particular election, a do or die affair.
Yo, many of my chair, workshop for in na yankase. Yes, elections do or die after your experience, but we share this time around now. We share the outburst a violent extremists for Jumedio Ahoro, any terrorism Ahora, Huba around the sub region, especially we share the Sahel community now. And no Emma elections biara basu Sambriano, as I say, Emma Nico, a good sweet, as it says. Since the advent of elections, you know, it is another showman who said, and I Adeba have been to me, or mine so to Ejija, saying to me, and share a bunch share, and she said, yes, Mima or mine, I do it made in Toka, and I did Edeba, and I think they will be our man, who I see Nigeria, Aquacoye, West Africa superpower. Elections here, Basso, or China. New preparations has been around for some time, you know. This is the Herald. As I say, I'm Krankobia, especially I can't on my who I war ye train with you. As I say, Obia Krampono, ne border security, no, Omu Eshemukina, Sanya Beya, any spillover Bebiano will be able to contain it because there's a likelihood, say, Ebia, never back Kwana say, we be touch man. Na a touch man, that's a bufaswa, ye better than a yasano, given all the volatile situations that award the sub-region right now. I think that Nigeria's election is everything that matters to us as a people and to all other persons within the sub-region.
Right, Doc. Now, monitoring the situation very well, what do you say a likely say maybe the opposition better me a winning election with?
Well, for me, as a security person, I may have an assessment that because it's a competition, a 50-50, or be able to marry, you'll be able to marry. So, yeah, I mean, I don't really look at which candidate in every unit, but me say, I don't know the candidate do imagine. Then, you bet me, and I say, it's a shepherd, a quemoa. Se nipa ni wini a enkon kwaje yensem se ede nsunsanso bone baba na mbum no ankranku bia begia tumu na especially election observers, both international and local election observers are here pa omo akofo no omdumedi somebody no so no so ade ehusnia ye ankasa ete no so hwe nti ye be share the security side no say nhihye a omode egu akwanmu ene nyame adma ochina de be koso na after what is the 3 stages of every election? No, after no election management, no one better some to me. If there are a maintain a craving for one for and say a background one, you bet me who can be so.
Radoga, security experts so far, Basaya Kosono. What do you say is security no much to handle situation here?
For me, no, I one because already Nakasano, what was that ongoing security situations in Nigeria and Nakasano, Abaye, Bibia, a home, Kakanaka. In the elections, no, because it's a keenly contested this time around, and every year, no, elections are keenly contested. But we share this time around, the economic situations are air banana in Ajama, elections now be in so far, as I say, Yadi Agri, Edina, Yabambo, Papa, send a baby to me, Ama, and she said, I to me about Yenzi. For me, any day, anyhow, I'm looking at how the AU, ECOWAS, and other international bodies, plus regional bodies now, with other NGOs around with me, actually, I'm going to say Nigeria as a country. We share the economic power, we share all the issues going on. Now, able to me, so that the rest of the countries also able to me because anything that happens in Nigeria that becomes very all the rest of countries they will suffer the consequences.
Okay, so it means the Abekoso Nigeria may have an effect on Ghana's elections and our patriot.
Yes, any situation there ever happen in Nigeria from tomorrow, to me answer no. All the rest of the country will suffer the consequences. For typical example, we share issues of oil. Oil, for instance, say you find some touch man. in Nigeria for more akunya say abi no mutin so yasin enti wo fa ne say enne entokwa esia na omo anka so mo kwa no mbe den kwa na omo so omo to eso matin ansa na maka say omo transport bi e dia man na te betimi akọ ene omo ko dita egedie no ye hwe de esi o Ukraine even as far as Ukraine what is currently happening to us what the invasion by Russia and then also even COVID-19. Into all these things are economic situations that also border on security. Into anything that will happen there will have other consequences on us. If it is not direct security consequences, which I know it will be, but the economic consequences are also very dire as far as trade and commerce is concerned. In the aspect of security, it is very, very, very important that we need to look at that as well.
Dr. Sadiq Adichum, the final question, do you think, sir, security ever play a role in this election, ever a determining factor in whoever wins this election?
I mean, security always plays a major role in every election in every country. But in America, no, senior, threat levels mean to know security issues more, and even in Ghana, it is going to be one of the major issues. In the economic issues are going to play or be at the forefront. Now, you quantify the economic issues in security terms. So security is at every point in time. No, it's a leading role when it comes to elections, and that is why about electoral management, electoral security, election reporting, and all of that. I mean, you the media. You even play a major role in this very election, and I think that will be a catastrophe. When you know Emma in the right needed information now, but me access to quite that's all borders on security, and that will be one issue. I'm there a bit more acute Nigeria for elections. So because already now some candidates are or and now, a very important issue.
Dr. Sadiq Adichum
is going to play a major role.
Great, but as a person, Dr. Sadiq Adichum, a security analyst, and a big agenda. DBS Industries Limited, Omadaro Mania, the big agenda. Ebro, DBS, Usida Nkwadia, DBS is the place to be. More line 0800 626262. Good evening. Happy weekend.